1, 2, 3.
Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad you're here. Your soul is in the right place at the right time.
Just where you're meant to be, whether you're live streaming or you're here with us in person. Everyone is welcome here. Let's sing about it.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning to those live streaming. You are in the right
welcome.
place at the right
My
time.
soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome.
I'm getting the message.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Your soul. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Don't you know that your soul is welcome here? My soul is welcome here. My soul, your soul is welcome here.
Yes, it is.
My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning, Reb Deb. Good morning, everyone. Your souls are welcome here.
They are. And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred. And in the warm and loving energy of this mission-centric ministry, Spiritual Life Center. Now, if you have here with us for the very first time or love streaming for the very first time, we
You like that love streaming?
I got that from Reverend James. Anyway, if you are with us for the very first time, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by divine appointment, and we're just so excited to have you with us today. And we're also really excited every time you remember to silence your cell phone because the message that you get today will come from up here, not from in there.
Yes.
And also just a quick thank you to Jeannie Chesko for our absolutely gorgeous altar.
Thank you, Jeannie. I saw her somewhere around.
She's right there.
Oh, right in front of me. That's how it always is, right in front of me. Just wanted to acknowledge that, Linda Barrere, how to pronounce her last name? Yeah. Barrere, yes, made her transition within the last week or so, and we're going to have a celebration of life service for her on Thursday, the 13th at 7 p.m. So if you'd like to be part of that, she was in our choir and also a chaplain, and so we will have an ongoing for her. And as we surround her spirit with the divine love that she is, let us commune with this presence. We know that this is a presence that we live and move and have our very beingness in. And as we affirm and pray for Linda's ongoing, we may feel the sting of her departure from this plane, but we affirm as she moves forward to her next assignment that the Spirit of God has in store for her. And in the same way, we all have a purpose and reason for being here, and we uncover and reveal our unique purpose so that we can make a contribution to our continued unfoldment, as well as those who cross our path in this world. So we're grateful to be the vessels and vehicles of the Spirit of the living God. We're grateful to amplify the message through the thoughts that we have, the words we speak, the actions that we take, so we may anchor a little bit more of the ever-expanding good in this life. So we go forth doing our part, knowing that as we do our part, we become co-creators with the only power that there is, the presence and the power and the love of God. And everything begins to unfold in its right and perfect way. For divine order is indeed the order of our day. So we accept this, we affirm this, and we give thanks for this good. Amen. And as we've been affirming throughout the weeks, our 5 basic unity principles in the event that someone asks you, what does unity teach? And these are the overarching principles that we teach from and speak from and seek to live from. So let's say those together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
And the next action we hope everyone will take is to come to the WOW program on Wednesday night. It's one of our Talk the Walks interview series, and I will be talking with George Piper. His title is Spiraling into Light. And George says, well, George is a member, he's a board of trustees, he's our treasurer, he's I believe the chair of the facilities committee, and in his spare time, I have no idea what he does. Oh, house concerts. That's right.
Yes.
Right. You know, so before he discovered his spiritual path, George led a pretty colorful life, and it was really less than satisfying. And so he will share his story of redemption with us in a very heartfelt conversation. So the salad is at 6 and the program is at 7.
And we have a wonderful program coming up. The one and only Karen Drucker is going to be here on Saturday, the 22nd. And yes, you don't want to miss it. And if those who don't know anything about her want to know a little bit about her, we have a video from her to help get to know her a little bit more.
Stuff in my heart, in my head, in my home.
Hey everybody, it's Karen Drucker. And I'm going to be coming to Spiritual Life Center in Sacramento on June 22nd. I'm going to be doing a concert on Saturday night. And my concerts are very much like we all sing together and laugh, and it's community, you know? It's just fun. And so I'm going to be doing a bunch of songs that hopefully you know of mine. Maybe some new ones. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be speaking and singing at the 9 and 11 o'clock service. Talking about how when we shine our lights that we can really help this wacky world deal with the darkness that's going on right now. So it's going to be a fun talk. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to be doing a Clear Your Clutter, Transform Your Life workshop. And let me tell you, I get so turned on about talking about clutter clearing. Oh my God. This is like my passion. I used to actually be a professional organizer, so let me tell you, there's going to be singing, but there's going to be all these great tips about how you can clear your clutter. And you know, clutter is not just about the physical stuff. The physical stuff is actually a manifestation of what's going on mentally, physically, spiritually. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff. So I hope you'll join me. That's going to be in the afternoon on Sunday. I think we start at 1:30. So Spiritual Life Center, I have the information on my website. They have it on theirs, and I hope to see you then. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. See you then. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, there's a table that you can go to after the service and get some information about sponsoring the event. So we look forward to you all being there.
And you have the opportunity to queue up in July. This 21-day queue process, it services us each individually because it gives us tools to work on our stuff and gives us better ways to discover what we're feeling and what we're reacting to and what we're putting out into the world. And it also helps us build a stronger community, doesn't it, James?
Yes, because we are speaking the same language, on the same page, and have the same energetic.
So the training is on July 13th. I knew I could do this. Saturday, July 13th from 9 to 5, and then there are 3 debrief sessions on Tuesdays this time. They're July 16th, 23rd, and 30th, and I believe you can sign up online or in the courtyard. So we hope to see you there. And now, we have some very special people I'd like to introduce, whether our ambassadors, board of trustees, and chaplains. Please stand. Our ambassadors wear the rainbow ribbons, and they are here to welcome you and give you information about all the different ways you can become connected here at SLC. So go up and chat with one of them and ask the questions that you have. And then our board of trustees are our guardians, and they also can tell you different things about SLC, and so check them out. They have their name badges have a purple ribbon on them. And then our prayer chaplains serve at least a year. They commit to at least a year, and they are here to pray with us in times of challenge and in times of joy. And they wear the white stoles. They will be here in the sanctuary and out in the courtyard after service if you are wanting to pray with them.
And if you're here for the very first time, in a moment we'll just be going to ask you to raise your hand. But for now, we'd like to let you know about the opportunities that you can get connected here at Spiritual Life Center. And if you fill out a welcome card that will be handed to you, you can drop it in the offertory basket at the end of the service or at the welcome table that's in the courtyard and get a special Spiritual Life Center welcome as well as a gift from us. So if anyone here for the first time, any first timers here today? Oh, just keep your hand up nice and high. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presence. And we're going to give you a purple ribbon. And we ask, if you so desire, to wear this on your left side near your heart so that we can greet you and offer you a heartfelt welcome and greeting here from our Spiritual Life Center community. So thank you for joining us on your pathway with us today. And we have an opportunity not only to welcome our first-timers, but to welcome each other and say, you are marvelous, glad you are here.
Stay standing, and please join us in singing our group song, I See God in Every Moment. Together. I see God in every moment. I see God in every moment. Ooh, I see God. I see God in every moment.
argue with the drummer.
Please be seated.
Sorry, John. Just a joke, just a joke. It's an inside joke, but I think you all got it, right? Did you all get it?
I decided to slow the song down and didn't tell them. Yeah, I know. That's why they put me behind the plexiglass.
And so now we're going to talk about our triggers. How about that? We all love you, John. Okay. So for those of you who might not know, because we have a couple of new people here today, as a community and as individuals, we've been working on our cue process, identifying our shadow sides, our triggers that keep us from living with nothing and no one against us in our process of waking up and growing up and cleaning up and showing up. So we did this as a community, and these are our community cues. So let's read them together. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, and fearful, because this is who we have come here to be, inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. And now we will fold all of those beautiful qualities into our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now we connect even deeper with all of these, singing this beautiful chant in preparation for meditation. Pour yourself in me, wonderful spirit.
Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful spirit. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Wonderful spirit, shine your light in me.
Shine your
Shine your
light.
light into my heart. Whoa,
Whoa.
wonderful spirit, shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful spirit,
Dance and sing.
dance and sing in me.
Dance and sing.
Dance and sing into my heart. Whoa,
Whoa.
wonderful spirit, dance and sing in me. Dance and sing into my heart. Whoa,
Take a deep breath. And exhale slowly. Allow yourself to relax. In the next cycle of breaths, just allow your body to relax. Drop your shoulders. Relax your eyelids. Now bring your attention to the middle of your chest, where a light just glows. And just immerse yourself into that light and allow your consciousness to drift as we embark upon a sacred journey. You find yourself standing on the crest of a hill, looking down into a beautiful circular valley. A stream meanders down through the middle of the valley, where it forms a crystal clear pool before continuing on its journey. A wide, well-worn path lies before you, and so you begin to walk down the gentle incline. And you notice that there are other people, other beings coming and going. And most of the ones coming out are surrounded in a blue-white mist. Some are still just in their street clothes. But you're curious, and so you continue until the path levels out at the edge of the valley. You're surprised to see that the valley floor is encircled by what looks like a wall of fire. But there's something odd, because as you come closer, there is no heat. Nothing is being consumed by the fire. It is stable, constant. It's like a perpetual flame. And you do not feel any danger with this fire. A wise being comes to stand near you. And you know it is a wise being because it is wearing a name tag that says, Wise Being. It says, why don't you step on through? This is a holy fire. It will not harm you. It will cleanse your energy field and remove almost anything that you are willing to loosen and release. I will be with you the whole way. And so tentatively, you reach out, put your hand into the firewall. It just feels warm and soothing. So, okay, you take a few more steps and slowly walk in to the fire. The flames curl gently around your body like a soft breeze, working its way in and out and around, permeating your very body. It is warm and it is very soothing. Your skin tingles and you hear something like a lullaby. The fire is singing to you. And something miraculous is happening. And the fire continues to wrap itself around you as you take a few more steps. And then you are through the wall, standing at the edge of the crystal clear pool. When you look down and you notice that you feel lighter, but your hands and arms are covered in a fine white ash. And you realize that you're covered in this. And the wise being says, this is what remains of your negative energy. Step into the pool to complete your cleansing. And so you step into the pool slowly immersing your entire body. And you allow the current, that gentle current that is going with the stream, to wash over you and carry away the ashes of your former consciousness. And you let serenity enfold you as you float into deep, deep silence. You feel clean, clear, alive, and very, very light. You're so light you can almost float. And as you rise up out of the pool, you realize that you are enfolded in the blue-white mist. As you begin to drift back to your body and to awaken, you ask the wise being a question. Why do some people leave here in street clothing, not enfolded in mist? Oh, my beloved, the ones who do not change are the ones who fear the holy fire and cannot walk through it. There will be times when you cannot do what you did today. There will be times when you can do it again. Judge not. Love yourself for who and where you are in this moment, for this moment is really all there is. Remember this always.
Rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through. So I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change. Change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be this one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high, and never have I known this river dry. Dear
is where I want to stay and feel the sharpest edges wash away. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand, rolling river God. Little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through.
Your applause. Oh, yes. Well, thank you, Ann.
Reverend Jen, now that we've recovered, can we give her a real round of applause?
All righty. Yes. Wow, it was just as good as it was, or better than the first time. I think when you hear, something as wonderful as a song as Ann was singing, I don't know about you, if you brought any problems with you, just for a moment, those problems are suspended. You don't even think about it. And that's where I think we're always supposed to be and can be each and every day, no matter what we're going through. There's something that we can lean on that can help us rise above whatever we're experiencing. Ann is such a light. And it's always good to have individuals that can be such a light. And every once in a while I run into something that kind of gives me an uplift as well, and I ran across a video that I'm going to share with you that allowed me to rise above some of my own bunk that I may be in. It's a guy that was a principal at a school in China that wanted to try to get his students to stop looking at their electronic devices to get some exercise. But more than that, he helped lift them up into a whole nother level. If we get the tape rolling. Buffering, 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 buffering. I think when he's doing that, he kind of let his true colors shine through. Because it was more than just getting him to exercise. He was expressing his true essence. The master teacher, Jesus the Christ, said something to the effect that there's something within us that we can say is our identity clause. And his identity clause was that we are the light. And we're here to let our light so shine before men and women that they see our good works. You know, from the science field and quantum mechanics and quantum physics, they really talk about the idea of that we're simply vibratory fields of infinite possibility. And they're really saying the same things. They're really saying that we're energy. And we are that light that when we lift up our vibration, everything around us begins to rise up even more. You know, Elaine Pagels, who wrote a wonderful book really on the history of Christianity and how there were two strands that actually came about. One was about the religion about Jesus, and then the religion of him. We are of the strand of the religion of him, his teachings, how we can incorporate it in our life. And what she said in her book, Beyond Belief, she noted for one of the Gospels, the Gospel of Thomas, which was not one of the books that made it into the official Bible. It's one of the things they left out. They didn't really like that one that much. But she says that Thomas teaches that God's light shines in everyone, should we choose to activate it. That's our real essence. That's our real nature. That is the light of this presence. That's what we see when we're at our highest and our best. You know, I had a mentor of mine that I would go to see when I was in my dark moments. And he helped me kind of get out of that with this statement. And he would say that, James, you are the delight of God, brought up with God before the creations of the world. And I said, oh, that's a good affirmation. In fact, we can say that together. I am the delight of God. I am the delight of God, brought up with God before the creations of the world. Brought up with God before the creations of the world. That can tingle every cell within your body temple, helps you remember who and what you really are. I think any identity less than that is what they call a lie. Anything less than that can be experienced. We can experience less than that. You know, we may have been brought into this life believing that we were born flawed, that there was something inherently wrong with us from the get-go. Not just from the get-go. And we began to believe that. We began to speak that. We may even try to prove that through factual living. Sometimes the hardest part of a journey is simply believing that you are worthy of the trip. I don't know who said that, but it sounds good. I think today we want to eliminate those faulty notions about ourselves. Let those faulty notions be neutralized, be canceled. And because regardless of what people may have called you in the past, what they may have said about you, today we will only answer to being a child of God, only answer to being a radiant, dynamic, spiritually intelligent being. You know, when we vibrate at that level, then we become available to the miracles of wholeness. We become available to the miracles of reconciliation and insight and revelation and healing. Because we are not what has happened to us. We are a vibratory field of infinite possibility, a divine light that shineth into every man and woman that comes into the world. I was thinking about that because I don't know if you ever saw the movie Ray, I think Ray Charles, you know, and every once in a while I play his music and I'm in the car. Like today I was playing the music on the way over. Every time I come to Spiritual Life Center in the morning, I try to get myself ready. Today I was listening to little Ray Charles, and and Ray Charles he went blind when he was about 7 years old. He was like 4 years old. He started having blindness. I think he had glaucoma of some sort, and they didn't have any treatment for it during that time. But he didn't let that stop him for letting his light shine through him and to bring forth the magnificent music that he has. And his mother was the one that sent him to a school for the blind in order for him to function as effectively as he could, and reminded him that he was still going to be magnificent in his life. So this morning as I was coming along, I was singing this song as it was playing on his greatest hits. Hit the road, Jack, and never come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and never come back no more. And so he left that great music and is leaving a legacy for us today that is lifting me. I don't know about anybody else, lifted me up this morning, and I needed to be there. So I think this is our pure state of our soul when we get to that point. And when we talk about the soul, we're talking about the sum total of our thoughts, the sum total of our feelings that end up showing up as our experiences, our body of affairs that we call our life. It's another way of saying consciousness. When we say consciousness, what does that really mean? It means what is it that we believe deeply within ourselves, because those things begin to make up our life experience. And when we have that high consciousness, abundance flows. Wholeness flows, creativity flows, knowledge flows. All that is good within us begins to come up. But here's the challenge. We may pray, we may affirm, we may visualize a good life or living that more abundant life that the master teacher and all the great avatars speak about. But we end up with the opposite. And it may be due to the fact that we've consciously or maybe unconsciously accumulated thoughts and feelings on that soul level from the thought forms we've gotten from the world or from other people that has led us to believe that we're separate from this goodness of God. Led us to believe that what people have said about us is true. And these beliefs will act as a law in our own life and create experiences that need to be neutralized by the truth. As one of my teachers said, a lie believed acts as truth until it's neutralized by the truth. I remember, as I mentioned years ago, that I was in this rehab center. It's called Concept House. And they had some really great facilitators and teachers and counselors that were there. And interesting, we had a number of different kinds of people that were, going through their rehab. We had, I remember who was a good friend of mine. He was a doctor, and they became a good friend of mine. And somebody else who was like, just a therapist or a teacher. Maybe somebody who just came from the homeless situation. So it was a smorgasbord of folks. But interestingly, there seemed to be one common thing we all had that were there. It was a belief that maybe we were not good enough. Maybe external events happened. Some people were abused physically. Some people were abused psychologically. The doctor friend of mine, he was told he was stupid from the time he was small, which is impossible for him to have got to the position that he was, but he incorporated that. He embodied that. And he began to live out that in his life. I think to rise above those misbeliefs, we have to lift our vibration spiritually and be seen as we're seen at our highest and best. And when we lift ourselves spiritually and lift that vibration, good things begin to happen, almost without any seeming process at all. I remember the time there was a woman who was looking for a particular job, and she was doing all the outer things, sending out resumes, talking to people, networking, and, really working really hard. But at some point, she started to work on herself spiritually with a prayer, her meditation, her yoga, and all of those things. Her vibration began to lift up. And one day, she just got this download just to go to a place that had antiques, go antique shopping. There was someone in the first service, when I said that, they yelled out a hooray. They really liked, antique shopping. So anyway, something guided her to go to this place to go antique shopping. She had never gone to an antique place in her life, but something told her to go there. And so she did go there, and lo and behold, a person that she had been looking for over the last 2 years happened to be there and had a job for her that she was trying to get. And she got there because she simply followed her guidance to go to antique shopping that day. Who would have thought that's how you get a job? But she followed that guidance. Her vibration was lifted to a very high level. There was some purity that allowed her to listen to that guidance that got her there in a way that didn't get her there with all the other things that she was doing. I think we can all have that, but we have to have a transformation of our consciousness. So our prayer work, our affirmations, our spiritual practices must be about a deep soul cleansing that's eliminating on an unconscious level places and perceptions that have hardened in our life and that become our life experience, become our points of view, and then what we eventually experience day to day. So as we pray, as we cleanse our souls, cleanse our consciousness, what we're doing is transferring or transforming the units of energy that have become stuck in us, that's blocking our good. And often they are hardened, and those things become rheumatism or arthritis or heart failure, emotional or psychological maladies that we may suffer from. Now, they don't cause these things to happen. Those particular things simply manifest as those things. And so what we want to do is transform them so that we can eliminate them. So because a lot of times it shows up as missed opportunities or sabotage or limited ideas that we have. And incorrectly, we'll try to reach out and try to change the things on the outer, change the symptoms, but we're not going to the cause from where it all comes from. So we want to heal our perceptions, heal our points of view. Or as Apostle Paul said, let us be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And the mind is the totality of who we are. So we do that through a soul cleansing, which is the topic of the day. I was going to get around to it eventually. But there's some strategies today that we can begin to take heart, we can sincerely use. Not because somebody said to use them or to make the world a better place or some improvement, but really to help us become more our true self, to let our shine like that, ourselves shine like that principal's self shined in that video we saw at the beginning. So there are a couple categories of things that are fundamental to the human experience that we need to be aware of. There's a feeling that we're not enough. And it begins to be reinforced by sometimes advertising. That if you don't get this, you got to buy this. You need this. You got to smell like this. And if you don't have this, there's something missing within you. They know how to take advantage of that hole that's not really there, but we believe is in our own being, that we're not enough. I was talking to a friend of mine about a course he was creating about how do we create what we really want in our world, what we want to create in our life. How do we create our best life now, maybe more than what we're doing right now, and why there are blockages there. And we were sharing about a friend I knew who knew a lot about spirituality and transformation, and she would be moving to try to get something new in her life, that next level, but it would always seem to fall through at the last minute. She'd somehow sabotage it. And she came to the realization that even though she had so much of this knowledge, there was something deep within her that stemmed from the belief that I'm not good enough. And we begin to block it. I think when folks have that, there's a feeling that there's a power outside themselves, and there are things that are happening to us that we call, and when people have that happen, we might call those people victims. Now, there might be a couple here, I don't know, but we usually have a bell that rings when they walk through the door just to alert us that we can help them out along the way. But there's a belief out there. There is something doing something to them. And there are certain obstructions in our awareness that we're unconscious of, that we do not really know what it is. We just know that life isn't working. Things aren't working out to the level that we know it can. But we may think it's somebody else's fault. So I think one of the things we can do to help us free ourselves from that is to employ this in our prayer strategy. I think to ferret out, to pull out those obstructions, and to tease into our awareness those places that are within us that are blocking the divine flow. We have to understand how the universe is set up. And I think what Jesus and a lot of other avatars taught us is that it does us no good to pray just for our friends. We got to pray for, Matthew 5:6 says, if you pray for those you love, what reward have you? And Jesus said we must pray for our enemies. I think Mahatma Gandhi said something to the effect that it is easy to be friendly to one's friends, but to befriend the one who regards himself as your enemy is the quintessence of true religion. The other is mere business. And I think when individuals said this, like Jesus said this, or Gandhi said this, those followers of him would say, I'm out. I'm not going anymore with this thing. You're going a little bit too far now. But I think the spiritual teachers remind us, our enemies tell us what's going on inside our own soul. But maybe we're afraid to own up to, so we project it out on other people. I had someone tell me that once, and I said, I don't want to hear that. Because it doesn't feel good. No one wants to really hear that. We love hearing how beautiful we are, what a shining light we are, that God loves you. Let's hold hands, sing the peace song. Let's hum Kumbaya. That stuff feels good. But when we really, really, really want to grow spiritually, we have to come to the understanding that the enemy is often within ourselves. And what we're projecting onto other people that we don't like is often stuff that we don't own up in order to operate at a greater or lesser degree within our own soul. I remember years ago, many years ago, I was playing some basketball with some friends, and we had a teammate. He was always right, and everybody else was wrong, and he would always point out everybody's flaw whenever they made a mistake on the basketball court, and toward the end of the game was like close, and then he messed up. And then we all looked at him and like, Be careful what you project on other people. I think to free ourselves from that kind of projection, we have to transform the energy and those unconscious thought patterns that have become mental habits and unconscious points of view. And so we put on our prayer list right at the top all the people that we don't like. People that we try not to think about at all. Because when we think about them, something in our mind says, oh my God. And they just keep showing up in our life. Well, I don't know if you know, but I've had these experiences. We move and there they are in somebody else's body. Change jobs, change careers, Figure they got plastic surgery, Botox, dyed the hair. We don't recognize them, but, they may even change genders, but we know they're the same person. We may try a geographical healing and move to another part of the world. Oh, there they are again. They just keep showing up. Where do they come from? Why does this kind of person always show up in my life? Everywhere that I go, they just show up. And I asked somebody, I said, why is this happening to me? Why is this person following me? And the person said, well, you see, it follows you because it is you. And in between the service, somebody said, there's a song along those lines. I'll see if I can sing it, if I can remember it. It's in every one of us. In your eyes I see. Somebody knows the words. How's it go? Of us. In your eyes I see. It's in every one of us. You are my reflection. Yes, I knew one of the choir members would help me remember what that is. Some people are just reflecting right back to us what's going on within us. So we ask, where do they come from? But more importantly, we ask, what's the solution? So what we do is, there's a place within us when we have our so-called enemy. We put them at our top of our prayer list. We begin to embrace that individual because they're simply representing a blind spot in our own awareness. They're becoming a mirror that we get to see that's operating within our own soul to some degree or another. And if we're willing to embrace that mirror, willing to embrace that individual or individuals, we'll begin to transform the energy in our own soul because we realize there's only one thing going on, and we will be free. Now, sometimes we think that there's some individuals are not expressions of God, that there are exceptions. We may say that everyone's made in the image and likeness and out of God, but God made a mistake this day. So-and-so, no way, there was an error, but there's no mistakes. We'll begin to see if we have that kind of prayerful encounter and there are no mistakes and there's something that we can learn from another person, we'll find the places within us that may be incongruent with our own vision, our own true self, our own light. And we'll make the changes within ourselves. And we'll discover that those people that annoy us, we will discover they can't get a foothold in us anymore because we've cleaned our own soul. And that stuff that we see in another person is no longer within us. And therefore, they can't get a foothold at all. That's why Jesus said something to the effect, the Prince of Peace of the world will come and will find nothing in me. I'm not vibrating there. So it cannot lodge in my consciousness, cannot lodge in my being. We'll be clean inside. We'll have a soul cleansing. So whether we're praised or criticized, it won't make any difference. You know, that's why somebody said, don't get too high when you get praises or get too low when you get criticized. You know, when they praise you, say thank you. When they criticize you, thank you for sharing. Because we know who we are, what we represent, what our intention is. We know what vision we're living from. And to the degree of self-love and appreciation that has nothing to do with our ego point of view, but has something to do with being connected to the Spirit of God in our life. Then I think to have an additional soul cleansing, we could do something else. You know, one of our teachings, we say there's only one presence and one power, God the good, and that's within us. Oftentimes people experience the belief of a power outside of themselves, as I mentioned. And they're afraid, sometimes superstitiously so, that there's something out there trying to get them. A boogeyman under the bed. Maybe people may have been religiously abused and they believe in something called the devil. Okay. And they brought up with that kind of teaching. But there's something out there that is going to get them. They may believe that. So the way to neutralize that imagery, we look at our life. We look at the so-called authority figures in our life. Sometimes people that make us feel maybe less than. And we place them second on the prayer list. And we begin to pray for individuals who are representing our belief of a power greater than ourselves. Because they're simply a backdrop, the screen that we're projecting our belief on of a power outside of us. And we begin to speak in a way that says, that which is within me is far more powerful than anything that's in the world. And we embrace them even in our being. And that belief that something outside of us has control will be transformed. And we realize there's only one power, one presence, one love, one God. It is in you, it is you and me. And we live in that. And that really says it all. I think everything else is simply a lie believed acting as law until we neutralize it with the truth. So we're talking about maybe authority figures that disturb us, that bother us. The ones that have, you know, sometimes we have insane fantasies about them. And we'll say things like, oh, I'm going to give that person a piece of my mind when I see them. Now, the only problem with that, if you give away too many pieces, after a while, you ain't got no mind left. We may have fantasies about those kind of people, and we bring them into our heart. We're here to release the life energy, and we'll become free. We'll set free because of our own soul cleansing. You know, as I close out, just know that some of this may sound crazy to the surface mind, to the ego mind. But when we think about countries rising up to practice their particular spiritual path that comes from their culture, it says the same thing, basically the golden rule, do unto others as you have them do unto you. And if everyone were to pray for their enemies rather than attack them, if everyone were to rise up and do good tidings rather than do harm to others, if people would rise up to this level, we would literally have the kingdom of God on earth as it is in truth. I think in this new thought movement that we're a part of unity, that's the path that we're on. That's the path that we individually are on. But if we don't do it, we can't expect governments to do it. If an individual can't do it, you and I can't do it on a daily basis. If this cannot be a way of life for us as individuals, then we cannot look at the internet and see the things that are going on and project it onto the government or officials or politicians, because they simply follow the lead of the consciousness of their country and the culture of the country. So we have to rise up. We have to lift our vibration. We have to see spiritually. We have to practice. We have to reveal God awareness. And when we go into the world, we do the work we are called to do to build a better society. And not going out fragmented and projecting our shadow side on other people. We're going out as the answer. We're going out as liberated consciousness. We're going out revealing the presence of God. Not reacting, but responding from the sacred center of our purified soul. Understanding that we're on a divine mandate, a fiat from God. We're the answer. And I think this is our calling. It happens when we have that good old soul cleansing and we show up at that high vibration that we are. And when we do, we can be free today. This is the good news. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is at hand now. Not just when we shuffle off the mortal coil, but if we die with a false belief, you'll just repeat the same experience without a body, that's all. And as we move from one experience to the next, regardless of what we have gone through in the past, regardless of what we've done or not done, you and I are the power in our own life. Because we are another way that God is recreated itself in His image and likeness. We're called into being for a purpose. We're called into being for a reason. And we're here to activate that. We're here to reveal the presence of God, and we help by doing that by cleansing our own awareness. And then we'll watch as this entire universe conspires to let heaven break out all over in every aspect of our life in our world. Something wonderful is always happening. It's happening right now. But we have to see it. And then when we see it, we can be it. Let's have that soul cleansing. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Amen. And as the band is coming back before we do our offertory, just remind you, next week is Father's Day, and I want to talk about we've inherited our Father's abundant business. And this is more than, this is beyond the human fathers that we may have or not have, but really that one presence that we're all children of. So, see you next week. In the meantime, let's prepare our gifts and our love offerings, knowing they're supporting this community to help prepare us for those who are on their way to help transform their lives and make a difference in our world, as well as supporting other local organizations that are about similar missions about transforming people's lives. So with that, let us say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
I'm turning my stumbling blocks to stepping stones. Turning my stumbling blocks to stepping stones. I'm turning my stumbling blocks to stepping stones. Stepping stones. Stepping stones. I'm turning my possibles to probable. Turning my possibles to probable. I'm turning my possibles to probable, probable, probable. I'm turning my problems into challenges. Turning my problems into challenges. I'm turning my problems into challenges. I'm turning my problems into challenges, turning my trials into proving grounds. I'm turning my someday into someday soon, someday soon, someday soon. I'm turning my stumbling blocks to stepping stones, turning my stumbling blocks to stepping stones. I'm turning my stumbling blocks to stepping stones, stepping stones, stepping stones. To stepping stone, possibles to probable, problems into challenges, trials into proving ground, something into something soon, stumbling blocks to stepping stones, stepping stones. I see God in every moment.
Left that little teaser at the end, her. Well, we bless the tithes, the offerings. We bless all those that have been here today. As we go forth, being our highest and best selves, really set the vibration so we can be what we're here to be, the full expression of God in this world. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth, doing our part to express and radiate the all good. Amen. And with that, let us join together and sing our peace song.